Hey, Susan.
Hello. How are you?
All right, how are you?
Good. I'm a little tired today, but I think I say that every time when someone asks me to. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you very much.
Franchisee meeting, huh?
Well, yes, let's hope so. I'm just going to shut my door, bear with. You got many more coming?
No, it's a small session today.
Oh, fab.
Yeah, so that will be good. And depending, and I'm hoping because people paid for it, they'd show up, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
But you know, you still never know, I guess. But you know, how?
No, I know the trouble is, it's a bit like I said to you, I was interested. I got something else. Then it suddenly dawned on me earlier on. Well, I can do the first half hour, so that's okay. Well, the first 20 minutes because I really ought to get myself organised.
Yeah, well then I'll send you everything anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was my first one playing with actually a paid webinar, just because just to see, you know, what the appetite is like. And
yeah.
But I also have seen a decline in the free ones like this month. So
really, we had a conversation. We had a really, really good online meeting. My first online meeting yesterday, and we had a conversation. Some people saying that I think lots are a bit zoomed out, and because the weather is so nice.
Yeah.
I had a meeting cancelled yesterday afternoon, so we went and played golf. And we're members of separate clubs, but we go to a golf course very nearby, and it's normally deserted, and we could only get one tee time. It was absolutely rammed, and the woman in the shop said, "Oh, it's all these lads that are furloughed."
Well,
and
yeah,
they've done some of it.
They've got nothing else to do. But no, I mean, you know, to be honest, I'm feeling okay with it not being super, because it's giving me some time to relax.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
In April, I was doing so much and so many webinars, and you know, it just actually has given me the opportunity to focus on other things, but also just relax a bit myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had one of our sessions was all about since COVID, refreshing, reframing and grow. And it was only 20 minutes, but it was really good. And everybody was saying that they were taking time and, you know, checking out different ideas. And yeah, I think it's really cool. I shouldn't say that when there's people dying all around the world, but it is for me anyway.
I know. And this is the worst thing to say as well, as I'm like, I don't want it to end.
Yeah, no, I've said that many times. Some of my guys go, wouldn't it be lovely when we can get back face to face? And I'm thinking, oh no, I've got to get up and go out, and I'd rather not.
Hello, Alyssa, and hi, Keith. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good, good. I wasn't sure you're able to make it then today, or are you going to have to leave early?
No, literally last minute.
Oh, great. Well, let me introduce you to, I don't think I've ever met Alyssa, and I apologize if I have, but Keith and Jill, you know, please meet each other. Jill is the founder of Successful Women in Business, and it's a growing franchise. It's like the network to be in for business women down in the south west of England. And Keith is the partnerships director at the Young Enterprise Foundation.
Oh, yes.
And so there's definitely, I think, probably scope in terms of the women and people that Jill has in the network, and potentially as, I don't know if you guys are looking for mentors or experts, Keith, but
we have one of your women as a member, Mel Bissiger. She's a member in our Weymouth group.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, and we're just waiting on one other person. So it's going to be a small session today. So you can ask a lot of questions, hopefully packing a lot of punch, but I will send you the video afterward as well, as long as the slides. So is anybody actually looking to run an online virtual summit? Is that, yeah? Yeah.
I'm open. Susan, in advance, my apologies. I am going to have to leave at 20 past.
No problem. No problem. Jill, meet Tasneem Virani. I don't know if you guys have ever met before, but Justine, I would check out Successful Women in Business if you can as well. It's another women's networking group. It's like the one to be in the southwest of England. They're growing really fast, and you can join the app for a couple of months if you want, right, as a guest to check it all out and join some of their meetings.
Absolutely, you'd be very welcome.
What's the name again? Sorry.
Successful Women in Business.
Oh, Successful Women in Business. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Justine and I have been
I'll
working
put the website in the chat, Susan.
Yeah, please do. Justine has been one of my earliest supporters as well, and she was my chair at Grow Your Biz when I first joined here in the UK, and has just been fantastic working with me. So does some really great stuff. Okay, I think we've got everybody, so I'm going to get started because I know that Jill needs to leave, and I'll pop up when you need to. I will send around the slides and the video. But also, before I begin, I'm going to just do a quick switch of my Wi-Fi because all of a sudden last night we've been having Wi-Fi issues and I forgot to hotspot to my phone. So let me do that so that I don't drop off at you guys at any time. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my slides and we will get started. So, this has come up. I'm gonna put everybody on mute just for this part. If you have any questions, please. Oh, I just muted myself, not you guys. Let me just mute everyone else. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. I am myself going through this process of planning a virtual summit. I'm quite digital as it is, but we are now going to start, we're gonna do an online community summit at the end of the summer. Part of it will probably be asking my network to be speakers. So if this is something that you'd like to be a part of, I will share more details in the upcoming months, but Eugenie is also going to be planning a virtual summit. So, for those of you, I think everyone who does know me, my name is Susan Bufani. I'm the co-founder of Eugenie, which is a private membership platform. Think Facebook groups meets membership website. And that's the kind of goal that we're trying to achieve with that, bringing communities and memberships out of the noise of social media without having to spend a lot of money building their own platform. Next week, we're launching our web version, so we're very excited. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to get in touch as well. And on the 11th of June, one of our new clients is hosting their own virtual summit on Eugenie. So, get involved if you'd like. It's all about remote working, but you can also see how the technology is being used to host a virtual summit. So I'm going to run through quite a lot of steps today. And there's a lot more we can go in depth for each one of these steps. So, as an overarching overview, I'm not going to be able to go into detail on every single one of these, but if you have, again, questions, feel free to send them to me afterwards. But high level, and then we'll go through them in a bit more detail, is defining the purpose of your summit. So understanding why you want to host a summit, defining who the summit is for and why they want to attend, setting your agenda with topics that you want to cover, identifying and recruiting your speakers, record any pre-recorded interviews or sessions because they don't all have to be live, creating your infrastructure, which is the techie part of it, the landing page, the website, registration, thank you sessions, email marketing campaigns, and again, we'll run through this in a bit more detail, building your partners or sponsors for your summit, promoting your summit, which is where you're going to spend most of the time. So although the tech stuff might seem like it's more daunting and it takes a lot of time, you're actually going to spend 80% of your time promoting your summit and getting people to sign up for it, then setting it all up, then hosting it, which is actually probably the easy part, the day that you actually host your summit, and then all your post-summit communications. So a lot of the revenue and if you're doing this from a revenue generation or lead generation point of view, a lot of that actually doesn't come from hosting the summit itself. It comes with the strategy of your post-summit communications and your offers. Now, whether that be, and I'll talk about some of the offers that you can make when you are running a summit. So these are high-level steps, and again, you'll get the slides so you can take a look at that. But let's start with what is a virtual summit. I mean, I think there's probably something quite easy for us to cover, but a virtual summit is a collaborative online event that features a series of expert interviews, typically focused on one specific area or niche, right? So it's an online conference. I mean, how many of us have gone to online conferences before, even before COVID? It's quite expensive to go to a conference, whether you're taking time away from your work, whether you're traveling for it. professional conferences that you travel for, you lose about 5 days of work, right, with all the travel and the expense. And so virtual summits were on the rise even before lockdown, which is making them even more necessary. And you're probably seeing them, they work for any niche or industry, they work for any business model, and generally they are free to attend. So you're not actually charging people to attend your virtual summit. And when we'll talk about why we're running these, it's because they're a huge lead generator for you. And so if we jump straight into the why as to, why are we running virtual summits? I mean, I've already touched upon how they're cheaper to run than, not only to attend for your guests, but they're cheaper to run for you. They're more accessible for sure. All you need is a connected device. They're measurable, so you can understand where your impact is, how many people you're getting signed up, and you set different metrics that we talk about. But the number one reason that people run an online summit is that it's an opportunity for you to build your brand and position yourself as a leader in your industry. Okay, so you can do this by running your own virtual summit or even sponsoring another person's virtual summit. It doesn't necessarily have to be, if there's someone running a virtual summit, and sometimes by the time you hear about it, it's too late, their speakers are full, but if you can sponsor another summit, you can also get a lot of the benefits without having to do all the work that gets involved, because there is a lot of steps that are involved. But lead generation is the number one reason to host a virtual summit. It helps build traffic to your website, get new subscribers to your email. It's a revenue opportunity if you're going to charge for it on the day, which most people don't do. And then there's a huge, again, opportunity to upsell or downsell. And so creating that strategy and your email strategy for not only leading up to the summit, but post-summit is really important, because that's where, and we hear this saying a lot, the money is in the follow-up, the money is in the list. And people are running online summits so that they can build a list of new subscribers in their niche. And we're going to talk about how to create your target audience and understanding, and only running a summit that is actually going to give you good leads for your core business opportunity, your core business. Because if you're, for example, a women in business network, but you run a summit on gardening, it's not going to necessarily bring you the type of leads that you want to then become a member of the business network, right? So you might get some, but the work that's involved is not worth it. It's not worth doing all that work. And of course, growing your own influence, positioning yourself as a person of influence in your niche or industry. So you are the person that will do the interviews. You're the one that's going to be seen most on camera. You're building yourself also an increased network for future collaboration. So when we start talking about, your dream speakers, I don't know who I was having a conversation with the other day. We're like, if we could get Michelle Obama to speak at this, it would be fantastic. Now, she's a dream summit speaker, but we then need to think about, okay, who can we actually get, right? How can we, who are those speakers going to be that are actually going to be able to say yes and that I actually have access to? And it's a win for everyone. A virtual summit is a win because the audience gets to come for free and get useful and helpful content. And if they're the right audience for the right summit, it's going to be perfect for them and their business. The speakers get a win because they get to reach a brand new audience and be seen as a thought leader and grow their own list, right? So when we start doing our online community virtual summit for Eugenie, I will be asking our clients to speak because they're running online communities. They're doing it successfully. And so again, giving them an opportunity to grow their influence and show that they are experts in this space. So there's a win there. And then there's of course a win for you, the one who's running the summit, because you're getting to grow your list in the most cost-effective way as possible, right? We know content marketing is still the best way to long-term grow your list, but content marketing takes time. It's not going to get you potentially the 100 or thousands of leads it can get depending on how the scale of your summit that a content marketing long-term strategy is going to do. It also can help you make profit from scratch, especially if you don't have a database already. So there's strategies with if you have your own database to market to versus marketing from scratch. And if you do this right, majority of the work is being done by the speakers, right? So they're the ones who are going to be talking at the sessions, whether they're giving you an expert-led session or the interviewing. A lot of that's going to be done by them. But then there's a strategy to making sure that you turn them into a proper promotional partner that actually wants to and does promote you. So how many of us have done an event, gotten a speaker in, and they haven't shared it at all that they're speaking at our event? So we've lost an opportunity to get our business name out there. We're giving them the speaking opportunity, but we haven't incentivized them enough or prepared them enough to share that and be able to tap into their network, which is the other thing of speaking, getting good speakers, is leveraging their network as well. So let's jump into the how, right? The how, the steps, and what you need to do in terms of starting to plan a virtual summit. Now, there is a lot of guidance out there that says that you need 4 to 6 months before, if you want to most effectively plan a virtual summit, to be able to get the most bang out of your buck. Now, I've seen it done in 30 days. I've seen it done in less time. It does depend, again, on what your goals and objectives are, but a lot of the guidance for people who are doing these 6-figure summits, and I hate when people say that because I do think there's a lot of kind of, you know, the marketing behind some of those is not always the most ethical. I'm on camera, but anyway, you know, that 6-figure, you know, overnight type of thing, it takes a lot of time as well. It's not easy. They put a lot of time and marketing budget into being able to get a summit that then results in those 6 figures. But giving yourself enough time to plan your summit is going to definitely be why it succeeds or doesn't succeed. So first step is, what is the purpose of your summit, right? Everything, all of your planning and strategy is going to be affected by what you decide your purpose is. And I can see 4 different reasons for doing a virtual summit. So 1, is it to build your brand and to generate leads, which is the #1 reason people do it? Is it to generate immediate profit? And this is when you're looking at there's 3 types of summits in terms of pricing models. There's the free one, it's always free. You try to upsell people afterwards. There's a freemium model where you charge a small fee and you can then upsell. Or there is the premium model where you're charging people to actually come to the summit. And generally that only works when you have a big database of people who trust and know you already, right? To get people to pay for something that they don't have any trust in, or they don't know that you're going to deliver is more difficult. Validating a solution or launching a new product. And so part of, again, why Eugenie will be doing its online summit is because we're launching a web platform and we want more people to know about it. And part of our strategy and marketing and email campaign will be giving away our web platform for a discounted rate to anyone that comes. So it's a huge opportunity for us to get it out there. Or to sell a high ticket product. And you see a lot of coaches doing this, where they'll do a full-on day, a virtual summit, and then be selling coaching packages afterwards. So you need to understand why it is that you are doing your summit, so that you can understand the steps and the marketing and all of the other planning that needs to go for it. And also, there's lots of different approaches as well in how you do a summit, which we'll get into, but understanding your purpose is really important. And then, of course, the topic, right? And you're not going to pick your speakers first and then put your topic. You always want to start with your topic first. So choose a topic that's going to address a pain point for your audience and how you as a business can upskill this problem with your business, right? So again, if I'm an online community platform, and if I run a virtual summit again on gardening, there's nothing I can upsell to these people. So let's say I get 300 people to come to the summit, or even 1,000 people. What am I going to sell to this network? What am I going to sell? And a lot of the money and the reason people do virtual summits is to grow that list of relevant people for their business. So making sure that the topic that you're picking is definitely something in which you can then do your promotion of your own business and upsell afterwards. Okay, so a tip on topics is that the most successful online summits cover a specific aspect of a topic from different angles. What we don't want to do is go too broad, because again, you might get the wrong people showing up. You really do want to build a very niche target audience that comes to this, that are going to be more likely than not to buy whatever it is that you sell as your core offering. So again, if I'm going to do something, I know over the last 6-8 weeks, I've been doing quite a lot of things on digital technology in general. But at the same time, my virtual summit, which I'm gonna have to put hundreds of hours of work into, is gonna be about online communities. So how to build an online community, how to engage an online community, what platforms to use, the pros and cons, and bringing in a speaker or an expert to cover different angles of building online communities is gonna be able to to attract people who are actually interested in building an online community. So if we go into the who, I've already been kind of talking about this a little bit, is, when you're trying to figure out who your target audience is, what do you need to provide, or what do you need to teach that would make attending this virtual summit worthwhile for your target customer, right? So we're already in a pretty digital world, but now people are really getting zoomed out. It's something we've seen across all of our communities, and we're talking to a lot of other community leaders. It's nice outside, and people are in month 2 of lockdown. They're out playing golf. They're not sitting at Zooms and attending webinars. They are starting to, and I myself am doing less webinars and attending less webinars. So put yourself in the shoes of your potential customer. What would make them want to come so that they can get a lot of value and give up that time? And ultimately, you want, if there isn't quote unquote bums in the seats, and then ultimately you're not going to make as much as you could from that online summit. It may not be worth it for you in terms of the time you're going to have to put in. And I think I mentioned this already, but if the audience that you are building does not help you build your core business, then it is not worth the work. It is not worth it. Their online summits are a lot of work. So if you're going to take the time to build the content, get the speakers, manage their schedules, get them to promote it, put paid advertising into promoting the summit, which again, you may need to do. So it's an investment of not just time, but potentially also money. And you're not building a list that helps you upsell or downsell your core business, it's not worth it, in my opinion. So in terms of the agenda, so we start looking at what, we're talking about what you're going to do, who you're doing it for, and now you're going to start thinking, okay, well, what am I going to present, right? What is my agenda for this online summit? What is it that I'm going to show? How am I going to show it? And we will get into the tech, but this is still high level in terms of what you want to present. So outline the topics of content that you want to cover for your target audience and how you want to deliver it. And here you're going to be asking yourself things like, do I have people who are good in interview styles? The 2 types of way that online summits are generally done in terms of the sessions are pre-recorded interviews or pre-recorded sessions. Even though it's pre-recorded, however, the speaker should still be on and available to answer questions on the day of the actual summit, or a live interview that you do with your experts, or a live session. So again, the interview style can be a lot easier for the person who's coming on, your expert, especially if you get someone who is one of your kind of dream speakers and they've said yes. They're probably very busy people. So saying to them, look, we're going to do an interview, which means all they need to do is prepare. You send them the questions in advance so that they can review those and have some time about how they're going to answer them. And then you either pre-record it or on the day you go live. It's less preparation for them versus someone who needs to do a presentation, who needs to do a expert subject matter expert session, right? They need to do a lot more, build some slides, build a script. And so there is more for them to do. So thinking about the topics and content, and when we get into talking about approaching speakers and recruiting your speakers, think about who might be more likely to say yes to an interview versus a presentation that they have to prepare. And going back to what I said in the beginning, if you have a lot of great speakers who are doing presentations or expert-led content, a lot of that content work is going to be done for you. However, I would vet it and make sure that it is the quality that you want to be delivered. And you don't have someone who comes on and is not necessarily presenting what you want them to present, but also even how you want them to present it. And so, just recapping that, you've got subject matter experts with strategies and tips, case studies or interview style. So case studies are great, right? We could do for me, online communities, how has Jill built her online, offering that she's doing right now for the business, for the successful business network, and understanding those practicalities of how to do that. Pre-recorded, and as I said, speakers should still be available to answer questions or chat on the day, or just live on the day using whatever webinar software that you might be using, or virtual summit software. So your special offer, it is all about the upsell, right? And in terms of revenue, most of that revenue will come after the virtual summit. It will not come on the day, because we're not going to charge for our online summit. We want as many people in this space to come to the summit as possible. So it is going to be the strategy of how can we sell Eugenie or our strategy sessions to them afterwards. So what you're going to be asking yourself, right? The question is, if everyone in your summit, everyone who attends, buys just one thing from you, what would that be? And so you're focusing your offer all around this one thing, right? If you're a coach, is it a coaching program? Is it one-to-one session? Is it a group session? what is that one thing that everyone, your target and ideal client, would want to buy from you? And again, you're priming them to be able to sell that and make that revenue from your online summit. Now, you want to add bonuses. So you're going to think about getting, you can also start getting feedback from people as they start to register and what they would want for bonuses if you don't know what they already are. Recently, Rosalie Odaly and I from Flat Out Social, she's our digital marketer, we ran a masterclass on how to do a webinar. And our bonuses included little videos on how to use Zapier to get Eventbrite to send the contact to the right place in Keap or Infusionsoft software. So for that particular masterclass, our little videos afterwards, or the templates or the checklists, were all our bonuses. So they got the 3-hour masterclass live, and then got all these additional resources after the session. Those were our bonuses, and that's just an example of the bonuses that we offered in that one space. And the types of offers that you can offer in the virtual summit is lifetime access to the video inside a membership platform. So as we've said, the virtual summit itself is free. They can come, they can attend, they can watch in real time. But if you want to give them access to the video content to watch later, that is something that you can sell. So, it would be, you could use something like Eugenie to host it, or have your website, your membership website. Wherever it is that you want to host that video content, you can sell that access to them or sell the video to them to watch later. Subscriptions or products that you sell as a core part of your business. So that's another offering. Teachable has built their entire kind of infrastructure, all their leads, doing a once a year online virtual summit where they offer their platform at a substantially decreased price after their online summit. And of course the bonuses. So the bonuses are usually free, but they can be upsells as well. And I follow this content company online called Melissa. I can put into the chat or send it in an email later, but they sell a lot of done for you content, which sometimes is great and sometimes it's not, but then they will send little bonuses, say, you bought this from us, this bonus is another 17 pounds. And so, for people that want this content and it's relevant for them, it can become a very easy way to upsell stuff after your session. So let's talk about the meat and the bones. It's the speakers, right? In any sort of conference and any sort of virtual summit, your speakers are going to be a big part of why people are coming. It's a big part of your planning and your content itself on the day. It's the video content you're selling afterwards, and they're your best marketing assets. So when we're looking at speakers and how to identify them, right, the best types of speakers are the ones that teach in the space that you're trying to target. People who are featured. So, the kind of influencers in the space that you're talking about. People who are referenced or quoted by others. So if you know that, Stu McLaren, for example, in my space is the membership guy, I should try to get Stu McLaren to speak at my online summit because people will come and his audience will come. So, his brand recognition and his credibility would help me in this space. And those are the types of people that I would try to target. So high quality speakers are super important because they do attract the right audience. And again, the speaker has to be relevant to the topic and the audience that you're trying to attract. And hopefully they have an overlap in the type of people that you want to attract into your own business or into your own lead generation. Now, as I said before, getting speakers to become proper promotional partners, meaning that they promote it to their email list, to their social media, and not just once, but multiple times, is a strategy in itself. And how can we, incentivize them to do that? But let's go, just jumping back to the types of speakers. We talked about our dream speakers. And then you have your A-list, people that you would love to get, maybe have a realistic chance of getting. It might take 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 emails to get them. Remember, people are busy. It's not that they always don't want to do these things. Persistence does pay off. Or your sure bet. So a lot of times if you can get someone in your dream speaker or your A-list, it will then encourage other people to say yes. But you want to make sure that you're keeping track of the outreach and send personalized emails to each speaker as to why it is that you want them to come in and speak at your summit. What is the benefit and value for them? Why is it a good opportunity for them to come and speak at your summit, especially if they're one of your kind of dream speakers? So let's jump into execution. We talked a lot about, why, what, and all of that. But of course, there's all of the nitty gritty of planning the online summit, including, not just the speakers, but the tech, the email sequences, and everything that you're going to need to set up in order to make this happen. So there's a lot of tech that is involved. I've got a couple of suggestions, so we'll run through the list of types of things and how you use them. Most people do use a website landing page in order for people to set up. So they set up a brand new website. If you, for example, take a look at Workarama, which is our client Plex's online virtual summit, which is happening on the 11th of June, it's separate from their website. It's a landing page. People are using things like ClickFunnels. They're using, there's lots of out-of-the-box type website things that you can use. And you want to also have, obviously, taking care of your domain name, your setup, and your hosting. The platform could be WordPress, ThemeForce, Page Builder, or again, like I said, ClickFunnels, which is very good for it as well. Then the carts and the payments. So again, although you're not necessarily taking payments for the virtual summit itself, you do want to make it very easy for people to buy your upsell from you. And your upsell is not going to just go to them afterwards. So I might have said earlier that, yes, it's all about the post emails, but it's also upselling when you send your thank you page. And we're going to go into the different pages that you need to create. But having that payment system, whether it's Stripe or PayPal or whichever one you use, is going to be important to be able to make that payment really, really easy to take. The analytics. So, understanding the traffic, right? How much Google Analytics is free. Sometimes can be a bit cumbersome to use, but it's there and it's free. And you want to set it all up. If you're using Facebook ads, you want to set up your pixel and make sure your pixel is set up to the right ad account. And one of the mistakes I made in the early days of Eugenie was I had my personal account and my personal pixel. So I wasn't tracking all that early traffic. And now obviously we set everything up for a business page, business account, and having the Facebook pixel actually connected to the Eugenie website. So we understand who is coming over from Facebook, and so we can retarget them, because retargeting is a huge part of a Facebook ad strategy. And of course, a platform like Eugenie will show you how many times people have watched the videos, what videos are they watching, what hashtags are they using, and it allows you to understand the return rate of people if they're coming back. The virtual summit for us, people set up groups. So Eugenie is kind of like having your own Facebook and then the ability to set up lots of different groups in it. So again, you can set up a group for each virtual summit and track the traffic there. Email automation, hopefully everybody has a CRM already, but you want to make sure you have a very simple a system set up for all your automations, so that when someone signs up to the virtual summit, they immediately get the thank you. They get the couple of emails pre-event, and we're going to talk about the emails that you need to send both pre-event on the day and after. But you want to be tracking that and make it automated for you, especially if you want to get hundreds of people to come to your summit. A membership site. So a lot of people use membership sites for the lifetime access to the videos rather than just sending out the links. And again, something like Eugenie or Thinkific could be great for that. Video, so Zoom, Google Hangouts, thinking about where you're actually going to do your interview or do your live on the day. If you're going to be editing the videos for the lifetime access afterwards or after you pre-record it, you can use iMovie, which is on Mac, or YouTube has a great free editor. You can, cut video up, add outtakes, intakes, add captions. So it's a great free tool that you can use. Vimeo is a great place to host video if you want more privacy. So on our platform, we have an integration for both YouTube and Vimeo, but YouTube can easily be shared, and they've made it that way. We can't turn off sharing of a YouTube link. However, with Vimeo, you can make something completely not shareable. So it can be hosted on Eugenie or hosted on your website and not be shareable to anybody outside of that. And same thing with Vistia. Now, in terms of your website, I would say ask yourself a few questions before going on with this. Do you have the technical skills to build the site and build the funnels? Do you have the time to build it? Who's going to write the content for the website and all the emails? Do you have the budget to get help? Who's going to create the graphics for social media? So, this is a lot of the work that you're doing in advance is not only just setting up the website and the automations, but also the content, right? So all of the marketing and the content, how to get people to want to click onto the page. And then once you do the thank you. So this is where you get a lot of the time. And if you're going to run a virtual summit and you don't have these skills, then think about the budget you need to make for getting someone to do it for you. So if we look at the kind of different pages that you need to then build, the first page will be the landing page, and we'll talk about promotion at the end. But once you get someone to this page, the things that you need to build on your landing page, right? So is the headline, the above the fold, learn how to build an online community in 3 hours, for example, if that's what we're going to do for our virtual summit. A feature image, what is the image you're going to want to do? What's going to make people feel, I think images speak 1,000 words. So you want to have that feature image. The key important dates and time. So what date, what time, the call to action, right? Book now, book your free ticket now, book your space for free, things like that. Testimonials, social proof or validation to make it feel like, yes, this is worth my time and I should come to this. What someone is going to learn. So if I'm giving you 2, 3, 4 hours of my time, what are my key benefits? What am I going to take away? Of course, your speakers, your speaker info. And there's 2 ways of going about that. You could have your 50 speakers, if you have 50 or 5 speakers and all their photos, or you talk about what value they're going to deliver and make their photo very small. And I'm of the mindset that people want to know, unless it's Michelle Obama, they want to know, what are they going to learn from that speaker? What is the key benefit of attending that session? Because you might also have people who only attend one speaker session and not the whole virtual summit. So making each piece also stand out. And what I would do myself is I would set up an Eventbrite for each one of them as well. So I use Eventbrite for a lot of lead gen in terms of my webinars. And although I would probably do a page for the whole thing, I would also set up an Eventbrite for each single individual speaker. They can heavily promote themselves, but also the different topics might attract different people, or just a time thing from a scheduling point of view. And then your offers and your bonuses. So whatever that might be also should be on that landing page. Then when someone books, so once they've actually booked their spot, the thank you page, right? The elements of the thank you page need to include, please check your email for your ticket. So the first thing you don't want to do is say, oh, thank you, here's our offer. No, thank you for booking your ticket. Check your email for your inbox for all the details on how to join. Then you can include your offer, right? And we are also offering lifetime access to all these videos after the day. Whatever bonuses that you might be also including in that, and account time to create some urgency. Because, there is that whole playing of the FOMO of people not wanting to miss out. So if we look at the email strategy for the virtual summit, you're going to have pre-event emails, day of summit emails, and post-event emails. And so the pre-event emails can include thank you to your subscriber, which should be immediate. So they book the ticket, boom, it's there. And I would also try to put in some sort of, put this in your calendar now type button. So, they put it into their personal calendar and then they don't forget. If something doesn't go into my calendar, I'm mostly likely not going to remember that I need to be somewhere. So definitely get them to put that in, that call to action as well. What is in the summit? So, what are you going to be including? The full schedule of events. If you've got a new speaker you just booked or a new bonus, again, highlight the various speakers or the interviews. If you've got anybody who maybe has done a pre-interview for you, that's a great way to also create buzz and, make sure people also show up. A link to the page or wherever it is that you're hosting the summit, and then your offer. And you could use a couple of offers here. Ultimately, this is a revenue generator, lead building activity. So sending one email, and I'm shy about this sometimes. I'm sometimes like, should I even send this invitation on an Eventbrite for this webinar? I've already done like 6 this month. Are people going to unsubscribe? Well, they unsubscribe, and they're not interested in my content. So if I send out a couple of emails, some of the stats that I've seen in terms of sending 1 email versus 3 emails, the substantial percentage increase in the amount of people who've booked that offer is just so great that it's worth the potential subscribers that you may lose. And I think, with GDPR a few years ago, when everyone was very panicking about losing their list, well, people don't want to hear from you. They're not going to buy from you. So there's no point in really holding on to them. Day of the summit emails. Send emails every day, on the day to highlight the various speakers, including the link to the page and your offer. So you could even be sending out, hey, so-and-so is about to start in 10 minutes, come and join us. And especially if you've got that relevant data from Eventbrite on people who've registered for a specific speaker, I would send that out, say like, don't forget to join us in 10 minutes, or here's the Zoom link. Make it really easy for people to join, because of course, especially while we're in lockdown, something might come up. Parents who have children or homeschooling, we're trying to balance work. I don't have kids, but for those people that are, there's a lot going on at home as well. Someone might just, lose track of the time. And if you send that email, you might be able to grab them back. And then the post-event emails is the follow-up. So, thank you so much for attending our summit. Here's the, whatever you might be giving away for free, or here's your ability to access the lifetime videos, or here's our offer. So, you know, just to be able to send those post-event follow-up emails. The summit page itself is probably the easiest one to set up. So your live stream or your interviews, so how are you going to host them? Where are they going to sit? Is it going to just be, you know, a lot of times when people do these really big online, they'll have the, you know, title of it at the top, a video, and at the bottom, the offer. And then the videos will just keep coming, the new one. You know, Eugenie, our client, is going to have in the feed, the video come up, and then people can press, you know, do all the comments and stuff below the video. And the reason that we like that is that it keeps the conversation organized, and then people can also come back and look at those questions later. So it might be the video, but also the Q&A that was the valuable part of that session for them, because they were asking questions and they have access to the answers in that community space. A call to action, as I mentioned, and a place to chat and ask questions. And this is just what our website looks like. So they're hosting, you know, have all of the breakdown of the schedule on the day. The video is going to be hosted here. People are going to comment. And with the web version, it's going to make it very easy to use. So this is the app version. So in terms of that, you know, I know it seems like a lot of work, and it is, but as we all know, sales and marketing and getting people to actually sign up to anything is the most difficult part of any sales strategy. So, you know, in terms of promotion, this is where you're going to spend a significant amount of time promoting your own virtual summit. And these are the other ways that you're going to do it. So yes, your own database, if you have one, is a big space to start advertising your summit, especially if what you're doing in your list is actually very relevant. So again, you know, Eugenie's list at the moment does have some people in it that are probably not interested in building an online community or using our software. If they unsubscribe, in the beginning, I was like, oh, I just got an unsubscribe, and I was tracking them. But actually, it's better for me. It's better for them. They don't get spammed. And also, they're going to only get relevant content that is good for their business, right? So it's good for me, not bad for me when people unsubscribe. Speaker and partner emails and promotions. So this is where you want to create a strategy to really turn your speakers into a proper promotional partner, especially if they have a good network and a network that overlaps with who you want to attract into your leads in your list. So, you know, giving them and making it as easy as possible for them to send out emails, give them the exact text with their affiliate links and, you know, what their session is about. Give them everything on a silver platter. And what I wouldn't be shy about is reminding them. So, you know, hey, you know, have you sent that email out? We didn't see it go out, or whatever that might be. Again, people are just busy, and you know, if they have agreed to speak at your virtual summit, they are either have a good relationship with you already, which is why they're doing it, or they can see the value in it for them, and they just need to be reminded. But make it very, very easy. Speaker and partner social media promotions. So again, giving them the exact content you want them to post on, and the right dimension visual. So if it's a Twitter, you know, Twitter is their thing, you want them to post on Twitter, give them the tweet in the way that you want it to be tweeted. If it's a LinkedIn post, give them the exact dimensions of a social media post and the visual. And then also say, please, you know, could you post this on XYZ? Don't just say, please post this on your social media. They might do one platform and not another. And then referral marketing. And referral marketing is when your people who have signed up to the summit are referring and organically telling other people about it. And that's kind of, it's quite there's a lot of strategy behind that. So if you are looking to do that, then you know, you can speak to me separately about that. And I've already shared this, but making sure that your speakers, you're sending them the exact copy of the text and social graphics that are relevant for each platform, and remind them, you know, if you need to send that follow-up email, if you can automate it as well, right? You can automate that, although with speakers, most likely you want to be quite personal and not use your CRM to approach them and or remind them. But a lot of times, if you see that they're not doing it, rather than sending them another email, pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, you know, we're preparing, we've gotten X and X signups, you know, or send a text, send something that maybe isn't in their email box, because as we all see, you know, our email boxes are getting more and more clogged up every day as we all get more digital. So that is the kind of structure of today. I'm going to go back to the top with the list and make sure and just kind of cover this again in one go, and then I'll check out your questions. But again, you know, to recap, defining the purpose of the summit. So, you know, are you doing it as a brand builder, a lead generator? Do you need to make money from it or want to make money from it? Who is your summit for? It should be for your target audience of the type of people who would benefit from your core business. give them a reason to attend. So why is it important enough? Why should they give up their time to be with you at the summit, and give you their email? Because essentially that's what they're doing. You're giving them value for their email address so that you have the right to then sell to them afterwards. And with GDPR, we all have to be very careful of that, although sometimes things do slip through the cracks. Setting the agenda and the topics that you want to cover in your niche or your industry or whatever it is. And the tip there was covering a topic from lots of different angles, identifying and recruiting your speakers, so making your dream list, your A-team list, and then your sure bets. And getting those feelers out there and trying to get your slots booked in. And you probably have to send lots of emails before you're able to finalize your agenda. Record pre-recorded interviews or sessions. And with your more, the kind of A-list or dream clients, dream speakers, if they give you a time that they can give you 20 minutes, just take that opportunity and record it. Especially for someone who's super busy and might not be able to do it live, if they're interested and willing and you gauge that, record it as soon as possible so you have that ready to go. Create your infrastructure, so all your tech, your website and landing page, your registration page, the thank you page, where you're going to host it on the day, and all your email marketing campaigns. So the pre-email, the on-the-day email, and then the post emails. Building partners or sponsors for your summit. So this might not be just your speakers, but it could be, again, a sponsor. So, we might sponsor somebody who is doing online community strategy. We might sponsor their summit because we want them to then promote our software. So, sponsoring an online summit is also another way to get exposure in your industry, in your space. Promotion, which is where you'll spend most of the time, especially because, again, to get people to sign up and build your funnels. Deciding and hosting the summit itself. So where are you going to host it? How are you going to do all of that tech? And then your post-summit communications. So the automation. So the thank you on the day, thank you for attending, and any follow-up emails where you're going to try to upsell or downsell any offers or promotions. So those are the steps. I'm going to just go ahead and check out to see if there's any questions. I saw a few things popping up. So I will send the slides afterwards for you guys to look at. And yep, Tasneem, I agree with that as well. But does anybody have any questions based on today's content?
Firstly, Susan, this is really excellent. I mean, there's a summit that's going on at the moment, and they have with WBEX on conversation intelligence, and they have, obviously, every year they do something like this, and I'm now understanding why they send me scripts. They send me a link to send to people. They send me exactly the content, what to say to people to get more people. So they are not only capitalizing on the audience they have, but they're getting it from supporters.
Yeah.
I think the way that you've covered this, I mean, I just think it's incredible. Obviously, it's a lot of work to put on a virtual summit. It's not easy. It's not easy. So, first I wanted to commend you, because I think you covered everything that is there for somebody you need to know if they're doing a virtual summit.
Yeah, in 40 minutes, I've told you about 100-hour work, but yeah. And I think the other way to do it is maybe partner up with someone in your industry as well, right? That maybe you're competing, because it cuts the workload in half.
So I have a question for you. If I wanted to do a mini summit, it's almost like a mastermind.
Yeah.
Where, I want to get other experts. My concern is they become competitors too. So I've got to ensure that they have completely their own forte, because as an organizational coach, I know what other bits people need. So I've just got to think that through, because, what am I selling? Am I selling my service? Am I selling the other person's service? Those are just the questions I have.
Okay, yeah. So in terms of collaboration, I mean, I would not host a virtual summit with, a competitor platform, for sure. I wouldn't do that, because I want them to use our platform and not, even Facebook groups, right? I'm not going to do actually, Facebook's interesting. I might do a summit with Facebook, because Facebook groups is a huge market opportunity for us, because a lot of people are getting frustrated with it. But using that as an example, Tasneem, you might meet another coach whose price point is very different, whose style is very different, who is just a very different type of coach. Now, would I pick someone who's exactly who you are? Not at all, because then people, it's difficult for them to choose, and it just depends. Why do people make decisions? But if you have someone who is a coach in your space, especially if they're influential, that can come in and be, that expert, I think it shows humility, actually, and also it allows their network and their audience to learn who you are, who you might be the right person for, right? Because especially with coaches, I think personality is a huge part of why people choose to work with a coach over another coach. And so if you're even able to then kind of get one-to-ones with people within their network, there is still some value there, as long as, yes, they're not immediately competing with you. And it might be that they're offering something different on that particular day. But, as I think there's a lot of scope in collaborating, even with people who do what you do, because then you can collectively attract a lot more clients or target demographic. But, we can talk about this offline in terms of the compete versus and the right type of collaboration. But you would think I would never want to work with Facebook. In fact, I actually would, because a lot of Facebook group owners, I think, are looking outside of Facebook, and we would love to grab them, right? So they seem competitive, but we offer different things and different value. Alyssa asked, what kind of offers and bonuses can you offer if it's a charity hosting the summit? So I think I would really need to know more about the topic, about what your summit is about, what type of, what the charity is about, who you're trying to attract, so that I don't give too big of a vague answer. But, depending on, we're onboarding a charity this summer that's a youth mentorship charity. And if they were doing a summit, they would probably want to bring in some of the women who mentor the girls to give additional support, career development support, or that sort of thing. So maybe it's additional training, maybe it's additional templates, maybe it's more time with an expert, maybe it's a follow-up session, one-to-one session. But I'm just trying to think if you can add maybe what your charity does or what your virtual summit it might be about, or it could be a one-to-one afterwards. Happy to think about more specifically what that could be for you guys. It's really difficult for me to give you, I think, a valuable answer without knowing it. Okay. So so that's kind of similar to the example I gave. There's another charity that we're bringing on, which is mental health for young people as well. And so I guess we'd had to take a look at what you have that could potentially be, what resources you have to give away, right? Whether is that, and what's relevant to that audience. So it may not be, you're not selling a service. It might be, I'm sorry, I don't want to be vague. Why don't we have a chat maybe afterwards if you'd like, and I can maybe give you some ideas specifically on your specific virtual summit and what you guys are trying to do. But what would attract people to come to the virtual summit in the first place, right? Could you give more content that is along those lines? So if they are coming for, let's just say, career development, what can you give afterwards that might be more of that content? So what's going to attract someone in the first place is going to be a great bonus for them afterwards as well, because they were willing to give up their time to come in the first instance before they even knew the value you were delivering. Could it be access to something that could be beneficial to them? So, if it's a jobs board or internship, opportunities or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm adequately answering your question, but I'm more than happy to speak to you one-to-one. If there's any other questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, I thank you guys all for coming, and I will send you. Yep, I did record it today. Last week I forgot to record my webinar and someone was like, where is it? But I recorded it today, so I will send that through and along with the slides. And if you need any help, if you're looking to plan a virtual summit, again, feel free to send questions. If you're looking for a platform, consider us, use Eugenie to host it. We have 2 launching next month. The client that is running the virtual summit is launching their membership using the virtual summit. And we have another one who was supposed to be an online, a real world political festival in Manchester, which usually gets like 3,000 or 4,000 people. They've had to obviously go online as well, and they're launching, they've done a series of webinars to launch theirs. So awesome. Okay, great. So you guys are all from perfect. Yeah, so we'll have a chat then, Keith, about.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, no, it's been really, really informative today, and I think let's see that we're going to do an online summit, right? Yeah, great, but realistically, how are we going to manage it and expectations? So there's a really, really helpful information here.
Great.
And I think, yeah, let's point out what value we can add. And yeah, I've made copies of maps and notes, and we'll be going back over this again later. So thank you, Susan. I found it really useful.
No, no problem. No problem. Thank you guys so much for coming.
And I just want to add one thing. I think one of the most valuable things that I heard is, and it made me think of other things, and this may help everyone else, is what are the pain points, and how can you upsell this, and what solution are you giving? I can't remember the exact slide, but that was, when you're doing a summit, you've got to attract what people want to hear, not just do it for the sake of it. So I thought that can go in any part of your business as well. So thank you again.
Yeah. If your business is not solving a pain for someone, then it's not a business, right?
No.
No one's going to want to buy it. So yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. And I'm sure I'll speak to actually everyone that came today. I know with these small ones, it's great because I can see everyone who's here and see if there's actual real questions I can answer. But thank you for coming, and I will connect with you all soon. I hope you enjoy the good weather this week.
Thanks, Susan.
Bye.
Bye.